Loneliness is what we call the biggest problem of our time.
It has risen to the level of actually being a public health crisis.
Loneliness is a subjective feeling of distress.
The suffering of many going completely unnoticed.
A person can be lonely yet still have a number of people that they're in contact with on a regular basis.
Loneliness is accompanied by serious physical and mental health consequences.
You're more likely to experience higher incidence of physical and mental health problems. And in fact, there's robust research as well that talks about how it can actually lead to an earlier death.
So it's actually comparable to the increased risk of premature death related to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
A recent report finding a third of Australians describe feeling lonely. For 1 in 6 of us, it's severe. The worst affected? 18 to 24-year-olds, 22% of whom are lonely. Middle-aged Aussies not far behind.
People who are living alone are more likely to report that they're lonely. Also people living in rural locations and people living in locations of greater socioeconomic disadvantage.
And social media is making it worse.
Perhaps we're more reliant on social media than we should be, or perhaps try to stop using social media but can't.
The UK taking the issue seriously, appointing a Minister for Loneliness in 2018. Japan doing the same 3 years later.
And that reflects an understanding that this is a big and important issue.
UK's Loneliness Minister launching an $11 million program to reconnect citizens through community groups, and early signs show improvements in mental health. For now, our government's rejecting moves to appoint our own Minister for Loneliness.
For me, I don't think we're quite at the position that a country like the UK or Japan is in terms of this discussion.
We've started to have more of a conversation about loneliness. If part of the response is to have a minister who has a portfolio responsibility for that would be, I think, a good step in the Australian context.
What we really need to do is actually establish a peak body that's cost-effective, that's really aligned with the global movement.
Experts urging all of us to be part of the solution.
It's a matter of listening, taking time and being available.
It's such a terrible and sad story. And I think that obviously the COVID years were so bad for so many reasons. Yeah. But one of the things we don't talk about is all the friends we wouldn't have made because we were locked in our houses for 2 years, you know? And those friends are people who you don't have connections with nowadays because you never met them. And I think in a country like Australia, it's particularly hard to admit that you're lonely because our national character is so intertwined with mateship and friendship.
Yeah.
And I can totally understand why people are struggling with this. It's really sad.
I feel like social media and the apps, Instagram, we're brought into each other's bedrooms, our lives, and it gives this false sense of security that we're close to one another.
Well, everyone talks about connection, but you're actually disconnected.
There is nothing that overrides physical connection, seeing someone's face, giving someone
Come on,
a hug.
Tara, bring it in. Bring it in.
I feel better already. That's all I need.
You later, him.
And on a serious note, if you find yourself in need of help for any reason, crisis support is available 24/7 through Lifeline on 13 11 14.